Our next speaker for the day is going to be Colin Bell. He is the CEO at COBIS, Council of British International Schools. Alongside a talented executive team and board, he works with and supports students, teachers, leaders and other staff and governors from high-quality British International School in more than 80 countries worldwide. Colin is also a founding member of International Task Force on Child Protection. Let's go ahead and hear from him more. A very warm welcome to you, sir.
Well, hello there. Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're based at the moment. I hope you're having a pleasant day. My name is Colin Bell, and I'm the Chief Executive Officer, the CEO, of an organisation which is based in the UK, head office is central London, called COBIS. And COBIS is the Council of British International Schools. Now, I'm really delighted to be with you today. I understand that the conference is absolutely fantastic, and there have been a whole host of speakers which have engaged with, lively debate about current education, practice, future, and obviously recognition of the incredible work that educators have done throughout the world during the ongoing pandemic. So from me to you, just recognition to each of you and your teams at the schools and educational organisations that you represent, that you are continuing to do a fantastic job in very difficult circumstances. Okay, so you might be thinking, Colin Bell, who is he? What's his background? So just briefly to share with you, I am a teacher by training, and I've had the opportunity to teach in the Czech Republic, the UK, and obviously, and also out in the Far East, in Tokyo. In fact, I'm currently a governor of the British School of Tokyo, and I've also been fortunate enough to spend time in the Middle East and North Africa with my role as COBIS. And in fact, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not beaming to you from London today. I'm actually based in Riyadh on a UK government trade mission to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to, strengthen the bilateral relationship between the two kingdoms and to promote high-quality British international schools and high-quality British independent schools, higher education, and so on. And we've brought out a trade mission of 8 schools, 8 UK independent schools who are considering establishing a footprint and working in partnership with investors and regulators here in Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. You'll know already there are many, many British schools, British international schools around the world, and that's really the focus of this very brief talk, just in terms of our approach as the Council of British International Schools, in terms of how we quality assure and how we externally validate the growing number of these types of schools. So in terms of the time together that we have, I guess I'll be talking for about another, 15 minutes or so. These are just the key things that I'd like us to whiz through, please. So in terms of COBIS, the introduction to COBIS, it's important that you recognise, and I share with you, that we are the premier association for high-quality British international schools worldwide. We're now in our 40th year of operation, and what we do is we represent, high quality. I guess now it's 260 odd schools in 80 countries across the world. And also we work with around about 200 British companies who are exporters of products, services, training, or it could be architecture, books, resources, examinations, you name it. We support a whole host of school organisations who export products around the world. Now we've got a clear vision, just like each of you and your organisations. And our vision is basically to help schools and students thrive across the world. And this is something that we do with great passion and also with a fantastic team of colleagues based in London, but also we've got about 200 colleagues that work with us on our accreditation program around the world. and also we've got a wonderful board, many of which who are based here in the Middle East region, and also we've got board members from Africa, Europe, and also Asia too. So that's basically a shot there of the countries where we've got our presence. But in terms of membership spread, it's around about 25% are in this Middle East region, and similarly 20-odd%, 25% for Asia too. So we're definitely growing as an organization, and we do it at the right pace, the right time, and with the right partners. So representation, that's why I guess I'm here on this trade mission. I actually sit on the Department of International Trade and Education's advisory group for export of education. Teacher supply is another massive area that we're involved in. We've got partnerships with UK universities, including University of Sunderland, University of Bucks, University of West England, Strathclyde, also the TESS Institute, who many of you will work with, I'm sure, already, but also with University of Birmingham, their campus based over in Dubai. Teacher supply is huge, something that we all need to keep an eye on, and that's why I'm proud to be helping the UK Department of Education to pilot a new scheme called the International Quality, the IQTS, the International Quality Teacher Scheme. So safeguarding, obviously very keen to all of us. We've got an unfaltering commitment to training, support, connected to all areas of child protection. We're an incredibly connected organisation as well. Obviously, like yourselves, we've embraced the true potential of virtual connectivity. So we have training sessions, forums similar to this, lots of online conferences for marketeers, development officers, bursars, business managers, HR professionals, and also special interest groups to support, for example, special educational needs or English as an additional language. Also, we're very, very keen to support university student counsellors based at schools to select not only UK universities, but the best choice of university for students who are looking for destinations globally. So professional development, I've mentioned that. We put on hundreds of courses and events with partners and our own throughout the year. And student engagement is something really important. We put on, I think last year we had 46,000 students that got involved with one of our competitions, whether it was sports, poetry, filmmaking, numeracy, literacy, music, performing arts. So we're a really active organisation, incredibly student-centred, and very inclusive as well. So the landscape. This is one of the reasons why quality assurance is so important. It takes the burden off often host country regulators and ministries of education. But you can see here from this slide the incredible growth in the last 10 years in terms of schools, students, staff, and you can see those figures there for yourself. Now, the sector which I represent obviously is UK style, UK curricular schools. So you can see it's around about 29% UK orientated. However, we would also add into that those schools from the IB and those who are offering Cambridge International. So overall, the percentage of international schools that are UK orientated is around about 42-43%. And this is from our colleagues at ISC Research, who are an excellent organisation to go to for market intelligence, feasibility studies, whether it's regional, nationally or internationally. So our quality assurance scheme, we introduced or we revised our approach to quality assurance for British style schools globally 5 years ago. We're now in the 5th year of operation of our branded COBIS Patrons Accreditation and Compliance Quality Assurance Scheme. Now, this is a new approach to quality assurance for British style schools, in which the word inspection is not within our vocabulary. We, in consultation with many schools, with associations, with organisations like the UK Department of International Trade, Department of Education, British Council, and also key ministries of education in this region and also globally, we wanted to develop a new, approach which was more internationally minded. And we did that by aligning our standards with, for example, the United Nations Convention Rights of the Child. So we've got a really rigorous set of standards, and I'll pop them on the screen in just a moment. But I guess where we differ from some inspections or accreditation schemes is that we take a really long-term school improvement approach. And our overall scheme is non-judgmental. We do provide an incredibly detailed report, which is for governors and head teachers, and then they can choose what to do with the contents of the report, but it always comes with clear next steps and recommendations, and that's something that we're really keen to work in partnership with our schools about. It's a 5-year cycle, and also within that cycle, it helps schools to know and have the security that we do also have annual drop-ins to see how maybe action plans are coming along, how any of those recommendations are being implemented by the schools. Now, our standards are incredibly unimpeachable. Schools do meet them in different ways according to their individual stage of development, but not all schools will meet the standards, and that's something we clearly share from the outset. But we're committed to helping those schools in terms of how they maybe reapply to go through the accreditation or compliance process, so that that there, again, it just demonstrates our long-term improvement, school improvement commitment, and also observations. They have a real key part of our approach, and we've trained, as I said earlier, about 200 peer accreditors, lead improvement partners who effectively conduct the quality assurance visits. So in terms of the visits themselves, they've obviously changed over the last 18 months, and we were very quick to continue to offer access to this quality assurance as a form of reassurance, really. A reassurance to parents, fee-paying schools, to the students themselves, to the teachers and leaders and governors who work within the schools. But we also felt it was really important to continue to quality assure, to give that clear message to regulators, to ministries of education, and also to investors who partner with school operators in certain through their partnership arrangements. So we definitely didn't want to cease the delivery of those schemes. So hybrid, an incredible use of tech to get around schools, to meet groups of parents, students, lesson observations, as I say, but also continuing with the existing tech that we use to go through all the standards which are loaded up prior to any visit, whether it's hybrid or or face-to-face, so that we can go through and look at the standards, the evidence which is loaded up against each of the standards. Now you'll see a quote there, just to again demonstrate that our scheme is incredibly innovative, and we did actually redesign an aspect to it. So for bilingual markets, I know China, we've done a lot of work there with Wellington College to look at how we would accredit those types of dual curricular schools. Similarly, for schools out in other parts of Asia, namely Vietnam, Cambodia, where the dual curricular bilingual offer is also becoming more popular. So there are the standards. You can see them there. Boarding is obviously if a school has a boarding facility. Not all schools do, and that's fine. But they're the areas that one would expect in any decent external validation scheme. Governance, we take a very contextual approach to governance. Ethos and values, obviously we look for the types of ethos and values that you would expect in a UK school, and also the first six there are for the compliance side of the scheme, and should schools wish to go through the full accreditation, and then they would take on 7 through till 10 as well. Now, the popularity of the scheme, now in its 5th year, as I say, we're really pleased with. So far we're close to, I think it's about 195 schools have either 195 visits have taken place or are booked and paid for the future, whether it's this academic year or the years after, and they are literally across the world, and that's something that we're really proud of too. The fact that this accreditation scheme is popular and fit for purpose for schools which are standalone primary schools or secondary schools, or they're cross-phase, and they offer early years as well, boarding. So, it is a really contextual approach that we take. And, there are obviously different price points to this, but we keep the cost down. We are not motivated by profit as an organization. We are formally registered as a not-for-profit organization in the UK. And so, we will fly in teams when it's not hybrid who are in region. So there's not a great expense in terms of long-haul flights. And those really highly trained peer accreditors, lead improvement partners, they are majority serving head teachers, serving directors of finance, and so they come with that real hands-on lived experience of school, quality schools. So briefly here, just to touch on this as well, COBIS is very well known globally for our commitment to safeguarding, child protection, well-being, equality, diversity, inclusion, and these are sorts of things that we look at throughout the accreditation process. No more so has staff well-being as well as student well-being been at the forefront of our mind and the forefront of your minds too. So that's another area that we'll look at. We're really proud that we work closely with other associations like ours, regional associations like here in this region, British Schools of the Middle East, and also FOBISIA, Federation of British Schools in Asia, to really amplify the messages about how safeguarding and recruiting the right staff with the correct criminal background checks and the like is important. And these are just some of the areas that we will touch on there, which we're committed to, I should say. So COBIS is also the global founding ambassador for the International Child Protection Certificate. COBIS is proud to work in partnership with them on this, the ICPC, but also we are the only organisation who are registered from the UK government to administer something called prohibition checks, and they are background checks for teachers who have lived in the UK, and we can do that for any school. So if you're a school, it doesn't matter if you're not a British international school, if you're a school and you are looking to recruit a teacher or a leader or a support staff member who's worked in system in the UK, please contact us. We can run those checks for you. That's not open just to members. I must make that point. So student engagement, I mentioned before, again, we're really proud of what we do to connect students together from around the world. That's, I guess, the lifeblood. That's what's really exciting about our organisation, the fact that we're truly internationally connected. But also we're really proud of the work our schools have done, or member schools, I should say, have done throughout the pandemic, partnering up and helping and supporting and learning from host country schools too. And that's something that we're really keen to communicate is, how our schools have learned from schools in country around the world as well. So finally, really, just to flag, excuse me, our flagship event is our annual conference. And this is just a slide just to show the types of themes that we will be exploring in May 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, we are planning and hoping, inshallah, that this conference will be a face-to-face conference in London. However, we do take a realistically optimistic view that mightn't be the case, but we're planning for it. And that's what we really hope. It's been 2 years since we've had our face-to-face event. But regardless, if for whatever reason it's not possible, we are already, and we've planned to deliver this as a hybrid. So similar to this excellent conference, you can join remotely, and obviously we'll be able to share with you the details of all of that on our website. But yeah, it's just going to be great to see people all being well face-to-face. And our themes are just all about reflecting, connecting, and exploring, what lies ahead. But it's a great opportunity to celebrate the work of teachers, support staff, governors, school owners, regulators, Ministry of Education reps, and the like. So, very quick whistle stop there. I appreciate our time together is short. Happy to answer any questions if there are any. But yeah, it was just a pleasure to be here and just a brief introduction to our organisation. Thank you. So we've got a question which has popped in, which is, what are the current challenges in reaching out to schools when it comes to the transformation from conventional schooling to digitalisation? Great question. Well, I'm very proud. One of the things I've been able to share whilst being here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is the incredibly quick response that UK independent schools had, and many other UK state schools had too, in terms of offering that online learning so swiftly through the pandemic. In fact, when schools were closed in the UK, for the independent private school sector, 75% of schools moved to offer online learning within 1 week, with the another 15% of the other schools offering online within another week as well. So we've learned a lot. We've adapted quickly, and so the platforms which are in place have been tried and tested. The ways that parents have been involved, students have been kept engaged. It's not been perfect. We know that. We're not going to say that it has. But I think that that theme is going to only deepen. We've got great examples of, for example, in this region, British School of Muscat, who have partnered with other schools to access and learn from what they've done for digitisation. But look, it's only going to get more important as we become more globally interconnected, schools to schools, or schools to higher education institutions, schools to employers. So I'm really excited about digitization in terms of how schools can really look to provide students with those added skills, which will help them with, for example, life skills, university destinations and applications, employability skills. So we are in a perpetually changing world. Education's certainly always changing, but we're in a really exciting dawn here, which will only benefit children and young people. But we need to remind ourselves of the qualities of access to education globally. So that's another area to consider too. Okay, so I think that's been wonderful to spend some time with you. Please do look us up at COBIS, Council of British International Schools. As I said earlier on, our services and our support and our help, we're very generous with our time and our expertise, and we're always looking to learn from other friends and partners out there. So please, don't hesitate to get in touch. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and I will bid you a good day. Thank you.
Such an enlightening session. We all enjoyed it. Thank you so much for being with us today.